Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 5 of our English courses. I'm going to start by talking about what we're doing for English 1100, and then I'll move over to talking about 0199. So we're in week 5, so I'm going to open up the week 5 folder. This week, we'll start working on our second writing project, which asks you to analyze media images through the lens of someone else's ideas. A good portion of your time this week will be spent watching one or more videos. Please watch carefully. It's important to develop a good working knowledge of the video content since you'll be applying ideas from the videos in your own writing. The assignments this week, as per usual, you should read through all of the different tasks in the module just to give you a sense of what we're doing in class. You should post the 5.4 to the discussion board by Wednesday. Have another discussion board post, 5.7, due by Friday, and then you should submit task 5.6 by Sunday. Task 5.1 is familiarizing yourself with the assignment for Project 2. Writing Project 2 is an analysis. It's an analysis of media using what is called a lens text. A lens text is a device that is used to help you better understand other texts, the things that you are analyzing. So let me put it this way. If you wear glasses or if you use a magnifying glass or a microscope or a telescope, you're using a lens in those devices in order to better see something else. And that is what you'll be doing in Writing Project 2. So you'll be watching a number of different videos and then choosing one of those videos to act as your lens. Or in other words, you will be analyzing a couple of images of your choice. You'll be analyzing those images using ideas from a video that you watch. And I'll expand on that a little bit. And I know that that idea sounds a little bit complicated, but as throughout this week and next week, you'll develop a really pretty good sense of what this project entails. And actually, this will probably make our video a little bit longer this week than usual, but I'm going to head over to the assignment sheet for Writing Project 2, just so I can walk you through what that entails. So here's the assignment sheet for Writing Project 1. I'm going to go to Writing Project 2. So Writing Project 2, this is writing with a lens text. You are analyzing media, identity, and representation. We'll be working on this weeks 5 through 8. Your word count needs to be 1,250, but no longer than 1,700. And this is worth 20% of your final grade. Please watch this video. This video will give you this will help explain what this project is about, what it entails. The purpose of this assignment is to analyze two media images through the lens of someone else's ideas. This type of thinking and writing task, applying a concept or framework from one context to another, is one you're likely to encounter throughout your college career. For example, in an anthropology class, you might be asked to apply a particular social theory to a cultural artifact. In a business class, you might be asked to apply a management concept to a workplace observation. So what you're being asked to do in this project may sound a little bit complicated, but it's actually something that happens pretty often in the professional world and especially in the academic world, where you will be asked to apply like a concept from one place and apply that concept to something else. And you can read what this assignment is designed to help you accomplish. And then let's talk about the overview. So this assignment asks you to analyze identity-related representations, so identity rooted in race, gender, and/or sexual orientation. And you'll be looking at two media images of your choice. Those can be things from magazines, they can be billboards, movie posters, things from television shows, movies. You can analyze pretty much any piece of media that you would like. Your analysis will be informed by what we call a lens text. It's a text that provides a framework for understanding or interpreting something. Your lens will be one or more of the following videos. So you'll be watching some of these videos over the next week or two. And you do not have to watch all of them. You're just being asked to watch some, and you'll be using one or more ideas from one or more of these videos to help you analyze the media images that you have selected. So you can read the list of our documentaries here, of our potential lens texts. And also, if there's another identity group whose media representations you'd like to analyze, you're welcome to talk to me, and we can figure out the best way for you to handle that. But basically, you'll be analyzing a couple of images for what those images have to say about gender, race, and or sexuality. Your goal for writing project 2 is to apply some of the ideas from your chosen lens text. Again, the lens texts are these videos here, to 2 media images that you choose to focus on. Maybe you'll discover that your images illustrate the ideas in Gene Kilbourne's documentary, or that your images contradict Xavier Bergen's ideas, or that Amaya Allen's ideas enlarge your understanding of your chosen images in some specific way. Overall, your main job in your paper will be to assert a thesis that explains your overall analysis of your chosen images, and to analyze those images in relation to your chosen lens text. We have a breakdown here of your images. Your images must be ones that were produced by actual legitimate companies and circulated in mainstream media for real commercial purposes. All the images in the lens text come from mainstream commercial sources, so your images should come from such sources as well. Please do not choose images that have already been discussed in the lens text or in the sample student papers that we have on Blackboard. Often students are more successful with this project if they choose still images rather than moving images like YouTube videos or TV commercials or movies. Because videos are collections of images paired with, sound and editing effects and stuff. And so they become a little bit more complicated to analyze. It's often easier to analyze a still image. And we have some more descriptions here of where to find images. I'll let you read that on your own. We also have a description of your audience, your genre, your format. All of your evidence, all of your support for your analysis are going to come from the lens texts and the images that you are analyzing. You should not use any other research or outside sources. So you'll likely only have 3 sources for this paper. It will be the 2 images that you're analyzing and then the lens text that you have selected. If you would like to use more than one lens text, you can, but that only makes your job more complicated. So my recommendation is just to use one lens text, unless you're really looking for a challenge. Here you'll have a description of our process, and here is the criteria for success. I don't want this video to go on for forever, so I'm not reading all of these things to you. That doesn't mean that it's not important. I would make sure on your own time to read through the criteria of success so that you know how you are going to be graded for this project. You have a draft of your peer review due Sunday of week 7. You have a draft for my review and tentative grade Sunday of week 8, and a draft due for your final grade 1 week after you submit the rough draft. So that is what writing project 2 looks like. Now let's go back to week 5 and continue looking at what you need to do in class this week. Task 5.2, I would take a look at the chapter on analyzing texts in your textbook. Writing project 2 is an analysis, so obviously reading on how to write an analysis I think would be helpful to you. Task 5.3 is watching the lens videos. Each video below focuses on representations related to race, gender, or sexual orientation in mass media. You'll choose one or more videos this week to serve as your lens text when you analyze your images. To do a good job on writing Project 2, you'll need to develop a strong working knowledge of the ideas presented in the videos. So as you watch some of these videos, I would make sure to take notes because you're going to be using ideas from the videos. You're going to want to quote from the videos. You'll want to be able to pull specific examples from the videos. And we also have a content warning here. These videos, many of them contain material that might be viewed as objectionable. Several of them show violence, either real or simulated or fake. There is some language in some of these videos, and there's also not much, but there is a little bit of nudity in some of these videos as well. So just kind of be warned. I have content warning here for you about these videos. Your first choice is Killing Us Softly by Gene Kilborn. This deals with women in advertisement, things like objectification, things like that. Tough Guys 2 deals with toxic masculinity and violence in American culture. The magical minority trope focuses on exactly what the title says, the magical minority trope, which if you're not familiar with, this is it's a good video to check out. Horror noir is the history of black horror. So talking about the role of black people in horror movies. 50 Shades of Black, my experiences with colorism. So this deals with how people with lighter skin tones are often prioritized or treated better than people with darker skin tones. This video, how queer characters have evolved in children's animation. Again, the subject is right there in the title, deals with how queer characters in animation have evolved over the years. Here, liberation versus assimilation in queer cinema. So lots to choose from here, lots of very interesting videos that I think you'll enjoy and get a lot out of. Task 5.4 is making your Wednesday discussion post. For this post, I want you to summarize one key idea or concept from any of the videos you watched and give at least one example from the video to illustrate that idea or concept. Please be sure to specify which video you are referring to, just so we know where to look, we know where you got your example from. And remember that your classmates may have not watched the same video as you, so try to explain the concept in a way that they will understand. Some examples of key concepts in the video are things like dismemberment, cool pose, magical minority, incidental representation, blaxploitation, queer coding, and tons more. There are innumerable concepts discussed in these videos that you can use to write your paper. Task 5.5, finding images for you to write about. So you are selecting your own images to analyze for this project, and I'd like you to spend some time looking through advertisements to find things that might be useful to you. So we have some links here that will take you to collections of advertisements, specifically historical and vintage advertisements. You do not have to analyze an advertisement though. We have videos, we have lens texts that deal with, cinema, animation, horror movies. So really any kind of media is fair game. As I mentioned earlier, though, I do think it is helpful to select a still image rather than a moving image. But as long as you're selecting an image, you can pretty much pull from any media that you want to. Here we have some helpful hints for finding images. I'll let you read that on your own. Task 5.6, you're going to be writing an initial analysis of your images. So after you've decided on the images you'd like to focus on for writing Project 2, please write out responses to the questions below. What specific images have you chosen? Are they ads, billboards, movie posters, something else? Where did you find the images? And please don't just say Google, that doesn't really help us. Tell us specifically where you found the image. Do these images actually portray people in some way? That is one of the requirements of this project is your images need to have people in them, or they need to have characters that are being treated as people or being anthropomorphized. Your images also should have something in common. So they need to be ads for similar products. They need to they need to have a similar kind of message. They need to both be from like a similar type of media. Your images need to in some way be connected. Your paper will not turn out very well if you are analyzing two images that have nothing to do with each other. Number 5, which lens video do you think you'll use to analyze the images? And off the top of your head, name at least one idea from one of the lens videos that you think applies to the images that you're looking at. Finally, why have you chosen these particular images to focus on? Task 5.7, you have another discussion board post. I'd like you to read through your classmates' posts from Wednesday and write responses to at least 2 of them. Try to provide additional examples to support or even contradict the ideas that your classmates are presenting in your posts. Of course, do this in a way that is polite and constructive, but we're trying to encourage a little bit of back and forth here. Don't just say like, hey, what you wrote was really interesting, good job. Try to find ways to expand on what they are saying or even challenge what they are saying in their post. And then at the end of the week, you're going to submit the writing that you did for task 5.6, which is the initial analysis of the images. You're also going to submit the 2 images that you've selected for writing project 2. All right, I know that was a lot. That's everything that we're doing in week 5 of Comp 1. Let's switch over now to take a look at what we are doing for Fundamentals of College Writing. This is an important week for 0199. We're going to be introducing the only major writing project that you have in this class, which is the Final Reflections assignment. It's due at the end of the semester, but we will have a series of workshops along the way that are designed to help you make progress on the assignment. So basically, the Final Reflections assignment is your final paper, your only paper in this class, but we'll be working on it throughout the semester. So by the time the end of the semester rolls around, you'll basically be done with the Final Reflections assignment. Each individual workshop is worth 5% of your overall grade. This week, you're going to be completing the first workshop. Task 5.1, you need to understand the Final Reflections assignment. To do this, you should read through the Final Reflections assignment guidelines. These are located over here in our navigation bar. Here we go, Final Reflections assignment guidelines. So your first task is to read through this if you have not done so already. And actually, even if you have done so, it's a good idea to still read through it again. There's a lot of information here, so please feel free to ask me questions if you aren't really sure what any of this entails. I'll be happy to help you out. Task 5.2, you need to download the Reflections assignment template. So you will find that here, and I'll go ahead and download it to show you what it looks like. Looks like this. So our first workshop is due in week 5, second one's week 9, week 11, and then week 14. You'll see that the workshop is, each workshop is color-coded. So everything you need to do for this first workshop is in red. Everything that you'll do in the second is blue, and so on. So for our first reflections workshop, you'll be doing this course lexicon here, and you'll be adding in some technical terms. You'll also be doing one creative term. And it looks like, yes, and then you'll also be writing a letter of advice to a future student. So let me walk you through these things so that you have a better understanding of them. So the first part of this reflections assignment is a course lexicon. This should end up being 720 words minimum. Your first workshop does not need to be that long. This is at the end of the semester. This first section needs to be a minimum of 720 words. What you're going to be doing essentially is coming up with definitions that are important to this class, or some way reflect your experience with the class. Each definition should be a minimum of 12 words. And this is going to include technical terms from our class, things like growth mindset, genre, rhetorical situation, descriptive imagery. So basically any like official term that we have discussed or used in either 0199 or 1100, you can create definitions for those for this first section, the course lexicon. Now, I want to emphasize here that your definitions must be original. So, for instance, if you want to have genre be one of your technical terms, you need to come up with your own definition of genre. You should not just go online and Google a definition of genre. You need to come up with your own. So this week you're coming up with 4 technical terms, official terms from our course that we have discussed or used in class. And then you're also going to be coming up with a creative term. Now, this can throw people off a little bit. The creative terms, these are words or phrases that uniquely express your personal experience of the class. So these are not going to be official vocab words. These are going to be things like my blue pen or MacBook or 2 a.m. writing sessions. So these are things that are unique to you that in some way encapsulate your experience with the class. So if you have a red notebook that you take all of your notes in, that can be one of your terms. You can say my red notebook, and your definition will be an explanation of how your red notebook is connected to the class, how that represents your time, your experience in the course so far. We're going to skip over some of this stuff for now because you'll be doing this in a later workshop. But let's talk about the last portion of this, which is a letter of advice to a future student. So the third section of this overall assignment, you're going to be writing to students who will take 0199 next semester. You can think about these as kind of reflections of your own experience in the class. So use your experience as a student to tell future students what your time in this class has been like. So you can talk about your study habits, how you scheduled things, your mindset as a learner, your confidence throughout the semester, things like that. So you're going to begin your letter, Dear Future Student in English 0199. For the first part of this, so for workshop 1, you need to write at least 100 words about your experience in 0199 so far. You're also welcome to talk about 1100 since those classes are closely related to each other. That is the main thing that you're doing for this week. Task 5.3 is doing the reflections workshop, which I have just walked you through. Here are explanations of what you'll be doing in that first workshop. I would read these, even though I have already kind of walked you through what you'll be doing this week. It's always a good idea to also read the instructions. And then you will be submitting reflections workshop number 1. This is due by Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. Task 5.4, you'll be posting to the discussion board. Because as a reminder, you have a Thursday post due every week. This week's post is simple. Just copy and paste what is your most impressive definition from workshop 1. And that's really all you need to do this week for the discussion board. So a lot going on in class this week. Please follow up with me if you have any questions. If you're not sure about anything, I'm happy to explain it to you or provide examples. If you want to schedule a phone call or a Zoom meeting with me so that we can walk through things, I'm more than happy to do that. Just let me know how I can be helpful. And I hope you have a good week.